Well, hello again, slurs. Welcome back to the Cheers to Comics podcast. This is episode 57, and I am your host, Brian Wayne. This week, I will be going over the books that were released on the 20th of November 2019, as well as talking about other topics relevant to the world of comic books. So, fair warning, this is a pretty spoilery podcast. It's more of an overview type of situation. It's not really a review type of situation, for the most part. But with that being said, there are timestamps in the description, so if there's something that you need to skip to, then do it that way. The other warning I like to give is sometimes I get a little excited. I can't contain my excitement, and I grew up in a trailer park, so I say some bad words sometimes. So, sensitive ears, you've been warned. Now, how you doing? What's up, nerds? Oh man, you ready for turkey? You ready to see the fattest Americans for the next, I don't know, month? Yeah, for the next 4 weeks, you're gonna see people at their peak weight, and I don't mean peak as in desired. Oh man, get ready. So, there's comic books to talk about, and but first we got some news. Matthew Rosenberg's in the news, and Matthew Rosenberg may have just convinced me on an event that I'm kind of 50-50 on. I'm a big Iron Man fan. Unfortunately, this last year, personally, I felt it to be a little bit of a letdown, being an Iron Man fan. And then we've got this Iron Man 2020 event coming, and I don't like, being an Iron Man fan, you'd think the first event I would want to jump on is an Iron Man event. Well, unfortunately, for me, maybe not for everyone, the team running this event is the same team responsible for my recent disappointment in Iron Man. So this Iron Man 2020 thing, not super stoked on. But Matthew Rosenberg has announced a ForceWorks 2020 book. We're getting 3 issues. So 3-issue miniseries tying into the Iron Man 2020. Matthew Rosenberg's going to be writing it, and Juan Ramirez is going to be penciling. So this team, let me tell you about this team. This team consists of U.S. agent, try that again, Mockingbird, Quake, and War Machine. So I'm not familiar with Quake. I don't know if maybe she's a champion. I think she's a champion, but I'm not. I don't know. Champions aren't a thing right now, so. But War Machine, gotta love War Machine getting a team, and I guess it's pretty suiting considering, he has been the best part of the Iron Man series thus far, or the Tony Stark Iron Man, at least his final arc. I'm getting into that goddamn, yep. U.S. Agent, I don't think I've ever read a comic with U.S. Agent involved in it, to be honest, so I'm anxious for that, but Rosenberg is very, very excited to, he actually said that was a deal breaker for him when he pitched this book to Marvel, and said U.S. Agent or no Rosenberg. And I said, well, okay. We got Rosenberg and U.S. Agent. So I don't know, this may be, even if I don't completely buy into the full event, this Iron Man 2020 event, I like Matthew Rosenberg's writing quite a bit. And, if anything, I'd pick up these 3. I don't know what ForceWorks is. ForceWorks isn't a new concept. It's a thing that took, I think the original ForceWorks was, it was practically the Avengers. It was like Captain America and Iron Man and Spider-Woman, I believe. I know Iron Man was in there for sure, so I guess that would make sense for, look at that, all circling around. So that's that little bit of news. There's one little tiny little itty-bitty other bit of news that I don't really know much about, but there was a slight hint within, I don't remember what book it was, but, no, it was Captain Marvel. Yeah, I think it was it Captain Marvel? I don't know, but an artist is leaving a book, and then on the goodbye notes on the last page, it said, I'm going on to work on an X-Corps book. So that's really the first official, or unofficial, announcement that we're getting another X title. I I don't know anything about X-Corps. Once again, I don't think this is a completely new concept. I think X-Corps has been a thing in the past. I don't know what the team is. I have no idea. They're gonna. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have to get something visual to convince me. But because I don't know how many mutant titles I could tie into at this point. I mean, there's already at least 2 from the Dawn of X that I'm kind of borderline on, but because they tie this whole universe, the whole X-Men universe is so tied into each other now that in order to get what's going on, you have to be reading fucking everything. And I don't know how I feel about this X-Corps thing, but it's news, so bam. Now, I did a whole lot of reading this week, a whole lot of buying. I got a big, thick, healthy, meaty, juicy, non-vegetarian stack of comics here. And I don't know why it's, I guess because, I don't know, I non-vegetarian because I said meaty. I don't know where my brain's at this morning, y'all. Alright, it's in comics. That's what we're going to do. We're going to talk indies. And I'm just going to go ahead and flat out say the indies were the meatiest part of this stack. And quality books this week, y'all. I'm going to start out with Count Crowley. Crowley from Dark Horse Comics. Count Crowley, Reluctant Midnight Monster Hunter. Number 2, David Dostmalkian. Look at that, I said it right. I've been saying Dostmalakian. I've been butchering his name. Want to know how I know how to say it now? Because I had an interview with Lucas Kettner, the artist of this. So go back, listen to the last Creator Corner I did from this podcast. And we hear all about Count Crowley in detail and what's to come. Or not necessarily what's to come, but the fact is that there's more to come. And yeah. So what's going on in this book? Well, we left off with old, oh, and I gotta give credit to the colorist too, Lauren Aff. Kills it with these colors, like, really does. But anyways, so let's get all up in it. Jerry, our main character, she was fleeing from this werewolf chasing her. She thinks it's a mirage. She's drunk. She doesn't know what to think. So, she's speeding off in this car, and then next thing you know, she wakes up on the side of the road. Little officer tapping on her window, and, says, well, fucking officer, I was sleeping. I was sleeping. There wasn't a werewolf. So, the officer lets her go, though, because, you know, despite her admitting to the fact that she was driving intoxicated, and yeah, well, you know, he's just one of those cool small town cops. Might be a fan of hers too after her last performance, who knows. So, at this point, she goes back to work. She asks her boss, what the fuck is up with this history of this last motherfucker named Barnes playing Count Crowley? Is what her role is now. If you didn't read issue 1 or you're a new listener or new to this book, essentially she's a disgraced reporter, gets fired from her job. She's also a drunk, in case you didn't get that at this point. But she ended up pulling a job as some B-movie theater host that has to dress up in some shitty costume. And yeah, she has to take on the role of the last Count Crowley host, also known, his name is Barnes, that's just up and fucking missing. So she wants to know the history. Well, her boss, Ben, isn't all that open about it, so she snoops around, gets his information, and sneaks up into his house. Well, as she's going through, snooping around, motherfucking Frankenstein. Kind of getting a pattern to these books, and I'm liking it. So now she's got to outrun a Frankenstein. And bam. Yeah. So, the one thing I didn't mention is that Vincent Fright, he was the original, it was his show, this whole Count Crowley theatrical performance or whatever. This was all his thing to begin with, so he's going to be tying into this, and oh man, Count Crowley, really, it's The first book released right before Halloween, so I mean it was in October. It was perfect, and yes, it is. It's a horror parody. I mean, it's just I would say it's 50-50 between comedy and horror. I dig it. I dig it. Maybe even a little bit of drama. It's 50-50-10 because math. Heart Attack. Heart Attack number 1. Sean Kittleson, Eric Zawadzki, and Michael Garland, covered by Zawadzki. Sure. I guess I can come out before I really get into the plot of this story. Essentially, I think this is Image's attempt at a mutant universe. I do. I think with the success of, the revival of the X-Men and Marvel, I don't know. These are mutants. I mean, they call them variants in this universe, and the two that we're going to follow in this issue, they're known as Jill and Kearney. So, but before we get into Jill and Kearney, we're not getting into them, but, Jesus, Brian. Morning brain. Nona. We know this Nona character. She's graffitiing. So she's doing stuff that she's not supposed to be doing, but she's doing it with this light or whatever. Because she's she's not doing it with paint. Let's put it that way. Because it's just mutant stuff, or as they say, variant stuff. Well, this VCU it's kind of the policing unit. And I would imagine I have no idea what it stands for. I really don't. But, yeah, so they arrest this Nona character, and it sets off this controversy, and it leads to this news story about, essentially unlawful and ridiculous arrests on variants. Well, that's when we're led to Jill and Charlie. Yes. So, Jill Kearney, Charlie North, they meet up at this club, and only because of a mutual acquaintance between the two of them. They don't know each other before they're at this club. But, the acquaintance between the mutual acquaintance between the two of them is called Sefton? Or Sefton? Yeah, that's what it is, Sefton. Yeah, that's the guy. So, they bump into each other, and they have this really weird, awkward, almost like energy exchange type of situation. I don't really think anything of it. Well, Jill, she is this news streamer, and she's there to get this news story, and yeah, like I said, my excitement isn't all the way there on this book, because one, number ones can be tough sometimes, and two, it's So then we kind of get a little bit of a history on Charlie. Charlie, he's kind of down on himself. His power is, Jill's power is also this light type of thing too. So immediately my brain goes to Jubilee. She is our air quote Jubilee of this book, and then Charlie, he is going to be our Pyro of this book because he has these hot hands. And, well, he's down on himself because right now his hands are barely even lukewarm. I don't fucking know. So, after they bump into each other, they realize that, hey, my hands can get so much hotter, and hey, I can get psychic, or that's not really her, and it's not light, that's not her thing. She does psychic powers. So she's our Jean Grey, my fault. The Nona in the beginning was our Jubilee. Got a little mixed up. It's been a week since I opened this one. It was actually the first book I read this week, so it's the furthest back in my brain. So yeah, no, that's Heart Attack number 1. Now, what did I get out of this? We're meeting some characters, there's some political drama, unlawful arrests, and this is the X-Men of Image Comics. So if you missed all of this stuff, or you don't care about Wolverine, or you're some sort of Marvel nihilist, but you still kind of want to have that book, then bam, here you go. Heart Attack. Sean Kittleson. Will it stay on my list? Probably not, but I mean, granted, it is an enjoyable book. I know just because I'm not excited about it, by no means does that mean it's a bad book. We all have different tastes. I prefer to get my mutants out of characters that I already know. I don't think I've got enough time to yes. Right now, Dawn of X, it is a brain investment because there's a lot going on. Hickman is setting us up. This is just a smooth type of blip. There you go. This is what's going on. I don't see anything complicated about this book at all. So, bam. Now, this next book, Rye. Rye number 1. So with the success of Bloodshot's doing very well at Valiant, and that comes largely from the movie actually finally having a trailer and this being a real thing, and Vin Diesel acknowledging it, and yeah, because this thing's been a thing. Rye is very much from the Bloodshot universe, and as well, Bloodshot first appeared in Rye number 0, so yeah. But Rye, let me tell you all about this book. Dan Abnett 1, Jose Rip, Andrew Dalhouse, and Dave Sharp. This book is fucking incredible. I am so happy this is a thing. So what we have here is we've got Rye and Rajin. And Rajin kind of looks like, if you were completely ignorant to what was going on, you would immediately think, oh, this is Rye's son. No, it's not the case at all. Rajin is actually much older than Rye. He's just an early model. So, yes, these aren't necessarily people. They're projects, for lack of a better word. So Rajan and Rye, they're in this desolate type of environment, and they're having some car troubles. Well, while they're having car troubles, they get ambushed by the Anarcho-Baron clan, which are essentially tech scavengers. And, well, they just so happen to get broke down in their territory. So there's going to be a scuffle. Thing is that Rye has sworn off violence. So Rajan's like, dude, are you going to help me? Like, no, I got to fix the carburetor. Whatever parts, I don't know. But Rajan, this little boy, he fucks this goddamn clan up good. So you can see that these are the weapons of destruction. These two just are gnarly motherfuckers. And keep in mind, this also takes place in the year 4000. So this is a very, very, very distant future. Alright, so at this point, carry on. They fix the doohickey and the engine kebab, and they make it to a little pub. Time to regroup, regather. I don't know. We don't necessarily know their mission quite yet. Well, actually, no, I take that back. We do. While they're on their way to the bar, we do get the scene where that we get an introduction. It's not, this is where they're explaining this is what I am, and you're actually older than me, despite the fact that you're littler than me, and yeah. Well, the mission is to destroy all of Rye's fathers, or their fathers, because, I mean, they say father, but that's the term used loosely. Their creator, all of the offspring, all of his offspring, they're all a threat because they sprung from that evil motherfucker's loins. Who that evil motherfucker is, I can only speculate on based off the final page, but I'll get to that momentarily. In the meantime, Rajan says, well, I'm one of those people. Are you gonna kill me when it's all done? Are you just using me? And Rye says, no, you're good. But Rajan doesn't really believe him. So yeah, they make it to a bar, a little pub, and we get a dream sequence with Rye and his love. So that's something they just slightly touch on for about a page and a half, maybe. Moma is her name. So she's dead. So you kind of get the idea of, this is his motivation. And yeah, well, at the pub, this whole Anarcho-Baron clan they run deep, and they are able to track down Rai and Rajin. Well, at this point, there's so many of them, and Rai he's had it. Maybe this swearing off violence thing is for the birds. And he literally walks through them. And it's gnarly. The art is fucking incredible. There's a fucking T-Rex in here, guys. It's... Oh, man. I don't know where the T-Rex comes from, but there's a fucking T-Rex. I mean, it's a distant future, and there's, it's not people. It's almost Star Wars-y. It's kind of what it feels like to be, oh, fuck, you know what? It's Western-y. This feels like Star Wars. Fuck. Alright, so, yeah, no, the clan shows up, and Rai, he's such an advanced fighter. He moves so fast that you can't even see him. So we kind of, I feel, I got a real Dragon Ball ZZ reference from there. You can't see him moving, but they're fighting super fucking fast. Well, he's like that. He's Super Saiyan Han Solo. Right, Super Saiyan Han Solo. I think that's what I'm gonna call this episode. So, yeah, it's so, I don't, once again, this is a podcast, so describing visuals is kind of, ridiculous. It's all the more reason you need to go out and pick this book up yourself. And yeah, final page, we see the Red King gets a location on Rai and Rajin, and to me, I would feel like that would be the creator, the offspring, dude, guy, target that Rai is after. But that's just speculation. I don't know for sure. My old Valiant knowledge has been bumped out of my head, and I do mean that. I've said literally twice. I hate that word, but I really, yeah. Yeah. So getting back into Rai, This is my favorite Valiant book, just off the one issue, and Juan Jose Rip and Dan Abnett, monsters on this book. Outer Darkness, moving into Image Comics. Number 12, Outer Darkness. So this is the end of another arc. And, well, let's get into it. John Layman, Afu Chan, covered by Afu Chan. Riggs and Agwe, they fucked up Admiral Prakash in the last issue, and the idea is to hijack the Sharon. That's the name of the ship. I don't know if it's Charon, Karen, or Sharon. I don't know. But yeah, that's the ship. So they jack the ship. Well, before all that happens, we kind of get a back and forth storytelling type of situation here. We get Prakash and his deck, and they're with Elox, and they all team up to go after Magdalena. Magdalena, she's missing and pregnant is what they reveal. So let's go find her. I don't see. I thought she was like super fucking old. Magic, I don't know. But then we go back to a sequence where Riggs is implanting this voodoo curse virus. Yes, a technological magic. Gotta love it, man. John Layman is just a master of creating completely unique universes between Chew and this. Ugh, so good. So, yes, curse virus infects the system of Admiral Prakash's communications, thus giving them a head start. Well, when Agwe and Riggs, who is also teamed up with the Lassers, this barbarian race, which, helps the odds of them being able to jack this ship, they go on deck and they say, "Hey, oh, Elox, what the fuck are you doing here, buddy?" And Elox says, "Well, I'm with Precaution Heisdick. They're on this motherfucker too." And that's a problem. That's a problem in Riggs's eyes, because he's just smacked the shit out of Prakash's daddy and stole a ship. So there's going to be some tension, and, he was trying to replace her to begin with, and, yeah. Well, how does Admiral Prakash feel about all this? He decides to go to Satalis, who has been sentenced to death by way of being devoured by the god engine of these ships. At least by Briggs. Prakash, not so much. He decides that he's going to use him, because he's going to use his abilities and his hatred towards Briggs to be able to track down his ship and his daughter and yada yada yada. Well, gives Satalis his own ship, and he decides to recruit Sato Shin as his first officer, and bam, that is the second arc. The thing is that Satalis actually has no intention whatsoever on Prakash's daughter. He just wants, or the ship, or anything else for that matter. He just wants a way to get back at Riggs. So, Outer Darkness, man. Go through, read it, and trade if you haven't been, keeping it up on the issues. But, oh man, this is, this is so good. Afu-chan, John Layman, killing it. Let's move to Canto. Canto number 6. David Boer, Drew Zucker, Vittorio S. Stone, covered by Drew Zucker. Now, I had David Boer on the podcast not too long ago, so go back 2 or 3 creator corners from now. Catch that whole episode. That was a whole lot of fun, man. Talking to David like that about Canto and getting an idea that there's going to be more in this book, confirming it. Sure, what's going on in this book? It's heartbreaking, but and you'll understand that in a second. So the Shrouded Man, he's explaining to Canto, we don't hold the hearts that we take from you guys and replace with clocks. We just break them, and we destroy them. We don't, why ever give you the chance to retrieve them? We don't want you to have them. Why would we hang on to them? We don't have any use for them. We're not fucking hoarders. So, yeah, bad news. Bad news bears for Canto. At this point, magic fight. Canto fight Shrouded Man. Shrouded Man, powerful. Canto able to get away, but his heart goes out. His clock stops, is what I mean to say. Because clocks are replaced with the hearts. Yeah. So, luckily, he's found by the elder of his race and taken back. Well, when Canto wakes up, he realizes that while he was gone, life has been good for his people. He's sparked an inspiration, and actually this society that used to be enslaved has now overthrown the slavers, and they're a free people now, and they've learned to adapt and train the Malarex to be able to ride and all of this other stuff. Kind of a How to Train Your Dragon type of situation, kind of is what I get out of this, or at least that particular reference. That's how I feel about it. The Malarex are cool. So of course Canto gets reunited with his own Malarex, and yes. But then you realize, as he's talking to the elder, he says, she didn't make it, did she? And by she, I mean the whole inspiration to this whole heroic quest for this guy. The heart he was seeking was, well, any heart for that matter, but his heart, if need be, to put back into the body of the one he loves, because she was dying. Her heart was going out. Her time was up. Well, she's dead, and he realizes it, and we get this really sad moment, and once again, heartbreaking. It's yeah. So, but with all of that, he is still, he has the peace of mind that his mission wasn't for naught. his people are free now, and they're gonna go off and back to Arcana, where they belong. And they're and then he's reunites with the one lady that mysteriously showed up and helped him in that one city a couple issues back, and she finally kind of opens up and says, "Hey, my name's All Loro, and I'm gonna be heading out, but you should watch out because the Shrouded Man, he's not gonna give up. He got away, and if there's someone to enslave, that's what he's going to do. So, watch out." And bam, that right there, setting up a whole new arc. What did I think of Canto? I don't tend to talk about what I think about Canto, or about anything as far as opinion goes, unless it's just pure high praise. And I mean, if you're a fan of the Dante's Inferno type of yes, this is a take on Dante, and it was beautiful. It was. It's happies and sads endings, and man, I can't recommend Canto enough. It's beautiful, and it really is for everybody. This is a family book. I mean, it's not bubblegum, that's for sure. I guess the term everyone is loose. There's a lot of but highly recommended. Highly recommended. Let's move on to my last indie book of the week, Once and Future. Once and Future number 4, Kieran Gillen, Dan Mora, Tamara Bonvillain. Covered by Dan Mora as well. This is probably going to be a quick overview, but some stuff is revealed. One major reveal at the end. But let's start at the beginning. The last issue had Gran staring down the scope pointed at Galahad, who has been ordered by Arthur to track down the Grail. Well, Gran goes to take the shot. Duncan, boop, pops the gun up. Bam. Shots fired. Misses. Time to run. So that's what they do. They flee from Arthur, and they get to Grail Castle, I guess, or that's where they need to get to. But first, in order to get there, they need the Fisher King. Now, I'm probably gonna get yelled at by a lot of King Arthur and Otherworld enthusiasts out there. I'm an admirer, not an enthusiast, so there's definite aspects of this universe that I'm not familiar with, and that being the Fisher King. I don't know what the Fisher King is, but apparently the Fisher King is vital to get to the Grail. So Gran, or Bridget, as she has been called in this book as well, and Duncan, and Duncan's lady friend make it to the Fisher King, and it's revealed that the Fisher King is Gran's ex-husband. So, yeah, gonna be some tension, right? Well, the Fisher King outs Gran to Duncan, saying, "Hey, what's your middle name, bruh?" And he says, "It's Percy, bruh." And he says, think you might be Percival? You think Bridget here's your little grandmama's been training you and grooming you the whole time to be the one to take out Galahad? Is that what you think? And mind blown. His mind gets blown, and so does Fisher King's, because he blows his own fucking brains out. Bam. I like how I didn't even mean to do that. That worked out well. Well, he does whatever he can to, fuck over Bridget and make sure that she can't prevail. That's issue number 4 of Once and Future, and I dug it, man. This book continues to go on. It was a late pickup for me. I didn't think that I was going to be into it as much as I was, and here I am, 4 issues in, and still excited about it. Still excited, despite my ignorance for the other world. DC Comics, Nightwing, Number 66, Dan Jurgens, Ronan Cliquette, and Nick Filardi. Cover by John Boy Myers. Oh yeah, John Boy Myers on that cover. Fuck, man. These acetate covers have been pretty good. Alright. Once again, it's going to be a quick overview. So the Nightwings, their team, they're saving kids from burning buildings, because that's what you do. Hutch almost dies, though, but he doesn't. So, yeah. We get a whole moment with that. Rick, on the other hand, back to the top of the building with Talon and B, his wife, not his wife, his lady friend. She's watching in horror as Talon's explaining what his plans are with Rick to her for some reason. So this is really just a big villainous monologue when it all comes down to it. Rick, he puts on the goggles, and those goggles are able to change his memories and how he perceives things, and at this point, he's completely programmed. He's programmed to be a deadly killer. He's programmed to believe that Talon has been his mentor the whole time, and his relationship with Bruce Wayne has been erased, or at least distorted. So, now it's time to test his abilities of being an evil, bad assassin, the assassin of the Court of Owls. He is now Talon, and his first task, take out the Nightwings. Bum, bum, bum. Yep, Nightwing, man. I have no gripes with this book. It was a very quick read. Yes, it was a villain monologue, but when the character's interesting, and by interesting, I mean super fucking evil and dark. I'm okay with that. I dig it. I like it quite a bit, actually. Let's keep it going. Batman Superman number 4. Joshua Williamson, David Marquez, and Alejandro Sanchez. Marquez and Sanchez also did the acetate cover that I decided to pick up. Alright, so we kind of get the reveal of the plans here. What's going on? Why Batman Who Laughs is doing what he's doing is we know that there's 6 needed, and to complete his plan. What is that plan? Well, the 6 types of characters needed have all been meticulously picked out. All of it's gonna be Gordon, Commish, Shazam, Hawkman, Blue Beetle, and Donna Carter. That's 5. Well, the 6th being Superman. That's the target. That's what the Batman Who Laughs needs. And every single, all of these characters are they have their own, use. They all differ vastly. So if all 6 of these were to come together, Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, Heart. Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, Heart. That's 5. Soul. I don't fucking know. Kryptonite. They all come together, and that is going to be able to power this satellite that the Batman Who Laughs has placed into space. Well, what's this satellite gonna do, Brian? Well, this is a cosmic bat signal, and what this bat signal is going to do is release this beam on Earth, and it is going to infect everybody. Everybody on Earth is just gonna be giggling and laughing and evil and scary, and yep. So that's the plan. Well, thing is, Superman still not necessarily buying it. Well, Supergirl shows up because Superman's so smart. So smart, he calls Supergirl. If you can't, if I could take you on, Supergirl can too. Well, Supergirl isn't Superman. She's corrupted immediately. And bam, Batman Who Laughs has his 6. So it wasn't necessarily Superman that he needed, but he needed a Kryptonian. Now, have they said why all the powers and who and what? And well, they said who, and they said what, but they haven't necessarily said why and how. And This is a 4-part series that ends with that. So, it's going to be carrying on into another series, and apparently we're going to have to be picking up these infected books. I thought there was Infected King and Infected Scarab, but I thought they were just prequels, not necessarily, necessary. Well, yeah, now we're getting Infected. Was it Infected Kingdom or some shit? I don't remember what it is. Has the book been good? Yes. Did I like the way it ended off? No. Am I hoping I'm completely mistaken and this is a 5-part series and not 4? Absolutely. But it said to be continued in yada yada yada. Yeah. I was expecting a finale out of this book, and it's far from it. Am I enjoying this whole thing and wishing it were longer? Absolutely. But I expected a finale. So, just a little bit confused. But, with that being said, still enjoyable. I've been loving, and frankly, this series has been my convincing factor, that the fact that I am capable of liking a Joshua Williamson story. So, that's good for something, right? Right. Let's keep it going. Justice League number 36. Scott Snyder, Francis Manpool, Howard Porter, and Hi-Fi. Manpool did the acid take cover. Alright. The beginning of this story, badass. It is twisted. So the Legion of Doom, they're awaiting their reward, as promised by Perpetua and Doom. Well, Perpetua told Doom, or not Doom, Jesus Christ, Lex Luthor, to, hey, get the Legion of Doom, and when we do this, they're going to have rewards beyond their wildest imagination. So, it's time to collect. Thing is that Perpetua goes back on her word. She very violently and horrifically captures the Legion of Doom and puts them in these capsules. And Lex Luthor, he's not exactly pleased with this. He's looking on in terror. This is not what we promised. What the fuck? And you start seeing that he might be having second thoughts for a second. That maybe Perpetua isn't as cool as he thinks she is. Well, when she finds out, or when Lex finds out her motivation for that, he goes right back to thinking that Perpetua is the shit. Because what he does, or what she does, is if Apex Lex isn't badass enough, she puts all of the Legion of Doom's powers, completely drains them, and boop, all up in Lex. All up in him. All the Legion of Doom is in Lex Luthor. Just powering through him. So, now it's time to kill the Justice League. He arrives on Earth, and we learn that Batman has the ultimate contingency plan for the Hall of Justice. Apparently the Hall of Justice is capable of flying. The whole thing. The whole thing. Not a little escape pod in the Hall of Justice. Nope. Lex arrives and Batman decides, well, Lex is here to kill everybody, so I'm just gonna get the Hall of Justice up out of here. Peace. That's, yeah. That's what's going on there. I really, really like the first part, but that second part confused me. Yeah. And in the end, I figured out what it was. It was just what was going on, because this is a reveal. We've never seen the Hall of Justice flying around before, so, yeah, I don't know. I overall, I liked it, and I am liking this art quite a bit, and I can't wait to see Lex Luthor take on, I mean, he's been Apex Lex. He's already been unstoppable, so now it's, I'm anxious to see what Snyder does and how he leaves off this universe. Let's talk, Batman. And this will be real quick. Batman, Tom King, Mikhail Janine, Jordi Belair, you're reading this book for Mikkel Janin's art, or unless you're a poetry enthusiast. So, what's going on here? Batman wakes up and finds he's sitting at this table. Across the table is Alfred. Alfred's dead, and it's time to get all emotional. Now, he's apparently I don't know if it's a letter or an audio recording being played in the background or read in the background. But Batman is pretty much it's Alfred's goodbye love letter to Bruce Wayne, and that is about 18 pages of it. And there's poetry involved, so many poetry references, or maybe it's just one poetry reference just spread throughout. I don't know, because I am actually not going to keep looking up Tom King's poetry, because this isn't the first time he's done this. He's all about the dude's smart as fuck. Okay, he knows literature. He knows what's up. Thing is I'm not smart as fuck, and I know comic books. That's about it. So kind of escape me. But if you are thief, then go. Yeah, you really love this. Now, why did you? I kept reading it because it's beautiful to look at. That's what drew me in. I think Mikkel Janin is maybe my favorite person drawing Batman. I mean, there's some good ones out there, but Mikkel Janin just has this very particular style, and I really like Janin's costume. Is what it comes down to. I like the way he draws his costume. So, more the cowl than anything. So that's what keeps me pulled in. If anything Mikkel Janin's drawing, I will be reading. That's a given. It's like Simon Kudansky. You know, he could be. If Simon Kudansky took on My Little Pony, Brian has subscribed to My Little Pony. If Mikkel Janin took on, I don't know, what's the thing that I would never do? Lumberjanes. Brian's reading Lumberjanes. That's so you get the idea. If you don't get the idea, sorry. So, Batman's mad. Batman's mad. Batman faces down Thomas Wayne. Now, thing is, yes, that's the whole book. You know, it's Batman's sad. Batman's mad. I thought Batman was dead. He got shot right in the fucking, in the guts by Thomas Wayne. I don't know. It was. I liked it. I did like it, but I wanted more plot to talk about. That's the thing, is I want more plot to talk about towards the end of Tom King's run. I like it so much that I just need more to talk about, but he's so unique that it's hard to... Yeah, you get it. Alright. Marvel time. Immortal Hulk number 27, Legacy 746, I believe? 746. Alright. Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Roy Jose, and Paul Mounts. Oh, man. Alright. Oh, and of course an Alex Ross cover. So, before I jump into this, I would like to talk about digital reading versus actual paperback. Anybody out there that is okay with the fact that there's ever the possibility that printed comics is going to go away and go all digital. This book right here will convince you that digital reading is not the way to go, and will never be the way to go. Print shall forever be the same, or forever reign supreme, is what I mean to say. Still got the morning brain thing happening, apparently. Should have got a coffee. Yeah. Now, this book, the way it's told visually, is there's three different things going on. Or there's three different settings between three different groups of characters. And if you were to read this digitally, you are confused as fuck. Because it's 2-page spread types of situations. And it's really hard for me to explain. If you're not convinced, you're just try to read it digital and then try to read it in print and see how much of a difference, see how much better and just the more brilliant Al Ewing storytelling is. Digital does no justice to how good of a writer Al Ewing is. I was fucking confused. The only reason I read it digital is I was getting my oil change and I didn't bring my books with me. So, and I needed something to read, and I couldn't get through it because I didn't understand what was happening, and I was worried because I really, really, really was excited on the fact that I'm starting to get the hang of Al Ewing storytelling with Immortal Hulk. Then I came home and I cracked open the book and I crossed my fingers, and this book was a smooth fucking read. So now let's talk about it. We've got the Minotaur. Our first setting, our first group, it is the Minotaur. He is now the head of Roxxon, and he's hinting at this climate manipulation type of situation. He's all about mass manipulation, whether it's climate manipulation or manipulating the people or whatever it is. Yeah. Meanwhile, he has these enforcers, and that brings us over to our second scenario. We've got the Berserkers, and it's an acronym for something that I don't think that they've given to us yet, but Berserkers, and we've got two in particular. I don't think their names are important, but they are given names. But originally, they're just some two dudes guarding a gate. Looks like Border Patrol type of situation. But then it gets to a point where one of them kind of slaps the other one around a little bit and says, "Oh, let's go, motherfucker," because Hulk smash. Not necessarily Hulk smash, but that's, yeah, they are gamma-free Hulk strength soldiers. So they don't have no gamma in them, but they have the strength of a Hulk. And they just kind of start sparring against each other. One of them's a rookie and the other one's a veteran. And, yeah, it's a rite of passage type of situation. And, yeah, so they're just at some, border of some sort, just wrestling around as these very grotesque looking Hulks. And they don't look like, your Bruce Banner Hulk at all. They almost look like if a Hulk fucked a Minotaur. Or almost Beta Ray Billish, kinda. I guess Beta Ray Bill kinda is Minotaur looking in a way. But yeah, you get the idea. It's just the horse teeth, just fucking creepy. Well, meanwhile, Banner. Banner, he arrives at the Roxxon facility, or a Roxxon facility, this particular Roxxon facility that these berserkers are fucking shit up at, and his goal is to take out these servers, and these servers, it's what produces the social media reach for Roxxon. Without their social media reach, they're not manipulating the masses in the capacity that they should be. Sure. Yeah, Hulk smash. And Hulk, of course, you're gonna see Hulk take on these two berserker guys, and whew. And then Minotaur sends in more. Well, he goes to call in the berserkers, and then he realizes that, well, they're already in there, and that's the problem. Because he's like, oh, or he gets told by one of his little minion dudes, hey, there's a problem, dude. And Minotaur says, well, send in the berserkers. He's like, oh, it's a fucking problem. Hulk's smashing the shit out of them right now, and our servers, and so yes, Minotaur, he's mad. Well, at this point, the third scenario, and keep in mind, I'm not telling the story in the manner that Al Ewing does. I'm giving you the broad overview of what's happening. The third scenario is the Shadow Base, and that's your Samson, and I can't remember her name, but yeah. The other person there, scientist lady, reporter. No, not the reporter, the scientist. Well, they say, okay, well, sun's going down, big guy. Or sun's coming up, big guy. Banner's gonna be out. And then we get a really cool reveal on the fact that Banner and Hulk are now actually working together, and Hulk can now be out in the daylight. The world is fucked. Hulk can be out 24/7, bitches. Because if you're not familiar or aware, the daytime is Banner's, the nighttime is Hulk's. Oh man, fuck, this Hulk book was good. It was so good, and once again, but I mean, obviously the art it speaks for itself. It's grotesque, it's beautiful at the same time. It's never confusing. Joe Bennett has yet to confuse me artistically. Al Ewing, because he is so brilliant with his writing at times, yeah, he has the capability of kind of spinning me around, but nevertheless, this one, read it paper, read it in print. Don't read this one digital. I promise you, you will not get the same type of effect out of it. It may even confuse you, or maybe I'm just fucking stupid. Who knows? Well, I'm at least a little stupid. Carrying on. Alright, this next book here, I was reluctant to talk about it, or I was reluctant to read it, but very, very happy to talk about it. Deadpool #1. Oh man. Alright, Kelly Thompson, Chris Bachalo. Bachalo did the cover A that I picked up. I didn't get any variants, despite the fact that there were so many good variants for this. Just got the first one, and you look at that cover and you kind of wonder, like, why is Deadpool in a throne with a scepter and a crown and a robe, and he looks serious? Because normally in that situation it would be some type of parody. And well, y'all, King Deadpool's a thing, and let me get right down to that. Deadpool has been hired to kill the Monster King that's been invading Staten Island, and well, it's time to do that. Well, Elsa Bloodstone, being the monster hunter that she is, also gets involved. Between the two of them, Deadpool ends up killing the Monster King, and that is grounds for him becoming the new king of monsters. Oh man, and if this is the whole Deadpool arc, I'm fine with this. I mean, the whole Kelly Thompson's run is Deadpool. He could be Deadpool, but on the side, he's also the king of monsters. Well, being the king of monsters, he's got to anoint somebody, and he kind of suggests that maybe, I don't know, Elsa Bloodstone should be the person, and his kind of his Chamberlain, or his Lord Chamberlain, Bellis, he informs Deadpool that would be a terrible idea because, she's the monster hunter, and she's killed a lot of fucking monsters, so not sure how the monster people would feel about, her being his #1 and all, or #2. So, alright, whatever. Then we get a visit from Gwenpool, and this is what completely sells me on this story. Gwenpool shows up and tells Deadpool in the most goddamn fourth wall breaking way possible: you got a book going right now, they can't figure out what the fuck they're doing with me. Jeff the Land Shark is way too cool of a character to not have an ongoing title. I would like you to take care of Jeff the Land Shark. Slurs, Jeff the Land Shark is a part of the Deadpool universe now. It's not just Gwenpool. It's in Deadpool books, just biting motherfuckers and being Jeff the Land Shark. Jeff the Land Shark is the Jonathan of 2019, however you want. Jeff the Land Shark of 2019 is the Jonathan of 2018. And if you're not familiar with Jonathan, that is Scout, aka Gabby's, aka Honey Badger's Wolverine pet. Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. And then it gets dark because throughout this whole thing, Deadpool's being talked to and informed by this Lord Chamberlain Bellis, and he's been his guy, his introduction to the monster universe, and he's just this weird goose-looking monster thing. But because he looks so much like a goose or a swan, it's kind of like if a goose and a swan fucked an ostrich, and that's exactly what Chamberlain Bellis looks like. So, well, that's going to be a target for hunters of sorts. And not just monster hunters, but Kraven the Hunters as well. Bam. Kraven the Hunter kills Lord Chamberlain. Kraven the Hunter in a Deadpool story. If that's not setting up a Spider-Man appearance... Guys, I'm so excited. I liked Scotty Young's Deadpool quite a bit. Nick Klein drawing Deadpool, beautiful. I went into this thinking, okay, Deadpool he's either right or he's wrong. There's no in between. And I've read some wrong Deadpool. And Kelly Thompson brought on the Deadpool. And this is not... You do not give this book to kids. They talk about metaphors about Spider-Man's web being him just fucking jizzing all over the city, and that's his way of facialing the city, and oh man, kudos to Kelly Thompson. And I put out a tweet saying this, but in the spirit of Thanksgiving, things I'm thankful for this week are Kelly Thompson and Chris Bachalo's Deadpool and Jeff the Land Shark. And those two things are in the same thing. Life is good. Life is good, guys. These are the reasons you read comic books. You get kicked in the dick, you get a fucking eviction notice on your door, or the fucking internet gets shut down. All the more reason to buy print, by the way. You pick up Deadpool #1 by Kelly Thompson and Chris Bachalo, and you read it, and then if you want, you can read it again, because there's so much to look at and see and take from it. This is why comic books are amazing. Goddamn. That was good stuff. Absolute Carnage #5. This... oh man, this was so good. So good. Alright. Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, Mark Bagley, J.P. Mayer, John Dell, and Jason Keith. Covered by Stegman, Meyer, and Martin. Now, I did that fast. Stegman and Mark Bagley, drawing a Donny Cates story. Stegman and Mark Bagley in the same book, y'all. It's so good. First part of this book is Eddie first meeting Cletus Cassidy. And this is back in a jail cell way back in the day, and Cletus, when he like, oh shit, you're Eddie Brock? Originally they were throwing a mouse into a snake pit by dropping you in my cell here, because I'm on my 11th life sentence thanks to my last cellmate, but you I could be friends with. And so you get that creepy moment in the beginning there. Flash forward to now. Venom vs. Carnage. And this is Venom like you've never seen him before. He's all pumped up with all types of symbiotes. This is Carnage. This is Dark Carnage, all winged and dark. And this looks like a medieval fantasy battle. And I mean that in a good way. And as the two of them are fighting, he's explaining to Eddie, look, dude, I could see... Eddie senses the hive, for one. He's getting closer, it's getting bigger, and he's in tune, especially now that he has so many symbiotes tied to him as well. And Carnage is explaining to him, look, man, you could sense the hive, but I could see through all their eyes, and if you knew what I was seeing right now, you wouldn't be very happy. And we get this flash over to our other assistants in this battle to kind of help protect Dylan and Normie. We got Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America thing, and Hawkeye. Well, they're losing. This Carnage horde is just fucking them up. Well, thankfully, help arrives, and by help, we have, I believe it's Brother Voodoo in the very back, but Brother Voodoo, Captain motherfucking Marvel, Deadpool, Morbius, Iron Fist, Scream, and a couple other ones that I would imagine appeared in the tie-ins that I did not read as well. So, but yes, so not all of them, but a good majority of the characters who were involved in the tie-ins show up to even the odds against this horde. At this point, Carnage, he's like, oh shit, that's not good. Well, he also realized he's not worried though, because he tells Eddie, this is win-win, man. I could just take out everyone here, including your son, and that's it. Everybody wins. Or you can kill me, and completing the circle connected to Null, thus waking up Null, being the thing that this whole event was supposed to prevent to begin with. So. And he says, if I win, I win. If I lose, I win. And he says, you got the choice. Do you want me to kill your son or everyone? And he says, everyone. And he kills Null, and he's fine with it. Or not Null, Carnage, my bad. Thus, waking up Null. And we see a panel of Null. He's on his way. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we have Dylan, and he flexes his new abilities. He goes face to face with this creature, this Carnage thing that is going after Normie, face to face, and psychically blasts it away. There's no symbiote involved with him. He is very, very, very special. I want to know who Eddie fucked to get that kid, because he's powerful. Just with mind bullets, it fucks him up, and it freaks him out. And the other thing that freaks him out is now one thing that did confuse me is the end of the book is a huge reveal. Everyone's saying their goodbyes. Venom hugs Spider-Man. Dylan is sitting in the corner, pale-faced, just blank-stared. And Eddie comes by, sits next to him. Hey, it's up, kiddo? And you're kind of thinking that he's freaked out based off of his powers that he didn't know he could do. Well, he the last thing said is, "Did you say I'm your son?" And whoopsie doodle. I don't know how he knows that. Maybe he's connected to the Horde as well, and he's able to see everything, or he's super psychic, or something like that. I don't know. But as many times as I flipped through this book, it was never once said in front of Dylan. So I'm a little confused there. But that might be on purpose, because Donny Cates isn't really one to have a loophole like that on accident. So that being said, this book actually wraps up in Venom number 20, this coming next week. So, yes, that that wraps up this 29 fucking books. 29 books tied to this event. This is a good event, though. So far, I believe, was the event as a whole with all the tie-ins perfect? No, I would say if you were to compare Absolute Carnage to the other big event that happened this year being War of the Realms overall, with having close to 70 tie-ins. It was like 68 tie-ins, I think, like that. Something like that. There was a handful of them that I thought, meh. And that was a small handful, maybe even closer to a pinch. A pinch out of a big bowl. Well, in a much smaller bowl of events, there was only a couple of tie-ins that I thought even necessary. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like they did the story in itself justice. But as an overall, between Absolute Carnage and Venom, those, just if you were to just go back and forth between those two books, incredibly enjoyable. This is a great fucking event. I would call this more of an arc than an event. But yeah, that's what I've got for overviews, y'all. Let's take a quick break here. I am gonna get some coffee, and then we're gonna get on to the honorable mentions.
What's up, nerds? This is Rich, the host of the Three Fat Nerds podcast. I would like to invite you to check out our podcast. We have 2 shows every week, and both of our shows are about everything that is pop culture and nerdom. That's right, we talk about movies, we talk about comics, we talk about video games, we talk about role-playing games, we talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and so much more. You can find us anywhere you get podcasts just by searching 3 Fat Nerds. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and like our page on Facebook, 3 Fat Nerds Podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 3 Fat Nerds Pod. And of course, you can check out our website, 8122productions.com. Most importantly, I hope you enjoy the show. With that being said, there's only one thing left to say. That's later, nerds.
Alright, we are back. Alright, let's do honorable mentions. If you're not familiar with this segment here, what I'm doing here is breaking down all the other books I bought. I didn't just read without actually counting, 11, 12 books I just talked about. There's so much more. But sometimes I can't always figure out what there is to talk about, or I just don't feel like I have the right to talk about it if I'm not confused. Or maybe it's just something I picked up for speculation's sake, or who knows. But the fact is they still need to be acknowledged, because that's what this is all about. Just because I don't like, and it doesn't necessarily mean I don't like it, but yeah, just because it didn't make my top list doesn't necessarily mean that it's not good. Let's start out with my Marvel honorable mentions. We've got Excalibur number 2. Yes, you realized I didn't talk about any X books this week, but yeah, there's no shortage of X books. Excalibur number 2. It was cool. It was, but it tied in heavily to Marauders. So if you're not reading Marauders, you're very confused. And yeah, and let's talk about Marauders. Marauders number 2. Also, this was pretty much Emma declaring Captain Kate the Red Queen. Bam. It kind of got the issue number 2-itis on me, like I like to say. Sometimes number 2 just kind of takes a dip. Very revealing, yes. This is something that, it's been a very anticipated reveal, because there's still a spot on the council and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, there you go. Tony Stark Iron Man number 18. Ultron Agenda Part 3. Big take out of this is Howard and Maria Stark are now alive thanks to Arno. And yeah, they're alive in the same way that Tony Stark's alive, kind of artificially, but still with all the memories, and don't really seem all that different, but yeah, wouldn't know. It's kind of weird because they're standing there completely naked with no intentions of getting clothed while they're hugging and talking to their son the whole time. I'm curious to see how I actually thought 18 was the last issue. It looks like 19 is going to be the last issue, so yeah, there you go. Avengers number 26. This book never makes honorable mentions, but this is an arc that I'm probably not going to follow because I'm not really I don't have a whole lot of, I don't know, I don't want to say I don't care about the Star brand, but it's not really something that really interests me. This is Star brand in the year fucking 2000 BC or some shit, 10,000 BC. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, there you go. DC honorable mention. I guess I'm all over the place here. No, only one DC honorable mention this week. No, I take that back. There are two. Metal Man, number 2. This was cool. I dug Metal Man number 1, but I could really break this down in one sentence. The nth Metal Man has arrived and killed Goldman. Bam. Spoiler. But you were warned in the beginning. So I'm digging Dan Didio. I don't know, but I like it. Might be a trade negotiation thing. I'm going to see how I feel about issue 3, but I do want to keep going into it because I'm very intrigued by the idea of an nth Metal Man. Image Comics, Ice Cream Man, number 16. This is the end of an arc, which I don't see. I mean, this book isn't really tied together in any way, but it's all very individual. Now, this is my favorite horror book out there, but my stack was really, really, really thick, and I decided that I kind of want to save this. So didn't make the overviews only because I haven't gotten around to it yet, but maybe because I'm anticipating it so much. I don't know why I did what I did here, but I did it. So it's an honorable mention. Ice Cream Man, number 16. Farmhand, number 11. A new arc begins, and I'm not going to talk about the reason I chose not to talk about this book is because, well, I'm going to announce it right now. My next Creator's Corner segment is, I'm sitting down with Rob Guillory himself. We're going to talk about Farmhand. So I'm not going to do an overview thing. I don't want to give anything away. Yeah, this is setting up a whole new thing. Just no crawdads, baby. Crawdads. Mud bugs. Alright. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Urban Legends number 19. Getting closer to that number 30. Alright, The Mask. I Pledge Allegiance to the Mask. Number 2 from Dark Horse Comics. The first one I thought was gnarly as shit. This is I think a 4 or a 5-parter, so this is gonna be a trade negotiation for me. I'm gonna binge read this one because it's just the idea of a presidential candidate getting a mask. The Mask is terrifying. More Dark Horse. American Gods, Moment of the Storm, number 7. It's, once again, as I have been saying, I'll read this when I finally go through and catch up on the show. So, yeah. But I'm a fan of American Gods based off the first arc that, yeah, kind of sprung from the... Well, I can't say sprung from the TV series. That's obviously not true, but came out at the same time as the first season of the series, and yeah, made me pick up the book, and I thought it was great. But because I feel like this book's going to be spoiling the second season of the series for me, staying away from it. Bloodshot, number 3. I dig Bloodshot. I didn't read this one though, just because it's kill, and I like it. And I had enough to talk about this week, and to me, Rye kind of took the place of Bloodshot. So, bam. Oh, there was more DC. Lucifer. This is just a book I like having. You know, it's gone over to the Black Label. It's not Vertigo. It doesn't say Vertigo on it anymore. Oh, and it's a Black Label book. So Lucifer, from what I have read, has been great, but it's not really a talk about it type of book. Batman White Knight presents Von Freeze. The reason I'm not reading this one is because I'm waiting for the other White Knight book to end, and then this one will come in, and I'll probably add this one to the trade negotiation episode I do on Curse of the White Knight. Unless you guys tell me that this book doesn't really give away anything in the second arc, but it's essentially a Victor Von Fries in the White Knight universe and how that would be. So I don't know. Maybe I will just read it. Captain Marvel. Yes, I bought a Captain Marvel book, number 12. Part of this was speculation. Part of this was the cover. Part of this was an arc that I actually feel worth reading. The thing is I haven't gotten around to it yet because Captain Marvel is never a priority book for me. But yeah, there you go. I like having it. And I think I will read this arc here at some point this week in between Wednesday and now when I get my books again. Captain Marvel Absolute Carnage tie-in. For obvious reasons, I didn't read this book. Track record of Captain Marvel, or not Captain, well, I mean, my like for Captain Marvel, for one, has been grim. And, well, frankly, the Absolute Carnage tie-ins have been kind of not so great in my eyes either. So, yeah, it's just recipe for just a collector thing. You know, I'm a completionist. I have every single tie-in to Absolute Carnage. I'm not going to just skip the last one. Conan number 11. I'm really falling behind on Conan. And I don't like that about myself. But, it's I'm sure it's great. Jason Aaron and Ashrar and oh my gosh. Ashrar. Saying that name, Ashrar? How? That's not Asrar? Asrar. There it is, Asrar. Muhammad Asrar. Oh, fucked it up again. And Matthew Wilson. Fuck. Conan the Barbarian. Annihilation Scourge. Alpha number 1. I'm gonna read it all together. Oh, fuck. Whoops. Coffee hasn't worked yet. Yeah, you can't have enough Rosenberg in your life, man. And I want to read all this one together. And it's just, come on. I don't know what the Annihilation thing is, but just based off that cover, you know, Nova, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, Beta Ray Bill, looks like Dark Beast, and well, Annihilation. Hey, named them all. Sounds like fun. Amazing Spider-Man, number 34. I'm steering clear of the 2099 stuff, and so far Nick Spencer's track record of him doing tie-ins into series has been not so great. I did not like the Spider-Man tie-ins to Absolute Carnage, and then we got one standalone issue that wasn't tied into anything that was okay, and then now this. So I'll be skipping this whole arc, but I'll still be collecting it because I'm not going to have a gap in my collection. And yeah, last but not least of the overviews, we have King Thor, number 3. Yeah, I'm reading all 4 at once when that happens, so boom. And that does it for overviews. I've got nothing else. Nothing else for overviews. Big, thick pile of books that I read that didn't make it to the top whatever. I wouldn't say top, but the overviews. Let's put it that way. Yeah, that does it for honorable mentions. But there's still the wall books, and there's no plural this week. Just one single wall book. Star Wars number 75. I had to get that Hayden Christensen fucking figure variant. Like I said in the last Star Wars book and came out, someone mentioned that they like the figure variant covers, and I thought, well, if they're popular, fucking let me see how I feel about owning them. And yeah, kind of a speculative move, if they're popular, I'll pick it up. And well, the thing is I think I'm kind of liking these figure variant covers, even though the 2 that I picked up have been things that I really characters I could give 2 shits. I don't even remember what the other one was. I'm not that into Star Wars to know what that thing was. I've seen it. And I've heard the name, but I couldn't, yeah. But Anakin Skywalker, old Hayden Christensen, you hateable son of a bitch. Good on ya. Might just make my wall. And, yeah, that does it. That does it for all that. As far as my top acknowledgements, this is, oh man. I'm going to start out with my cover, actually. My cover is Captain Marvel. It's not a wall book because I didn't buy it for the cover. I did actually buy it for the story. And apparently it's a dark, for the story. But that cover, Mark Brooks is, he knows how to make money off of me. That's for sure. You know, I've got Mark Brooks signed art behind me. I'm so happy to have the Iron Man behind me. And, his Captain Marvel covers. Brilliant. So that's my cover of the week. Now, as far as my visuals of the week, my guts, my interiors, my penciler of the week goes to Rip. Oh, Rip from Rye. Rip from Rye. That art is fucking incredible. And I had a listener reach out and, you know, comment and say, how come this guy doesn't get work over at the big two, over at Marvel or DC? Because his art is fucking phenomenal. And you know what? Absolutely right about that. Yeah, you got a cover. He did do the Contagion covers. But I like his pencils more than his super refined cover work. Right, I'm so into this book. And that leads me into my overall story of the week is Rye. Valiant Comics reigns supreme. Dan Abnett, man. Dan Abnett and Rip. You have killed it. You have blown me away. You have become my most recommended book of the week. So bam. Good on ya. So that wraps up the show. Thanks again for tuning in. I'd like to remind you to support this podcast. There are several different ways to do it. Your support does mean the world to this podcast. Its production, its quality, its quantity as well. So, the more supporters, the more episodes, the more content, and yeah, life's good. Do so. Become a patron. Patreon.com/cheers to comics. For $1. Send me $1. I send you stickers, and, included in that tier, if you're lucky enough to bump into me it's a small world, bump into me into a bar, and I'll buy you your first beer. Buy you a beer tier is what I like to call that, but I also send you stickers as well. And, bam, and the tiers range on up, there's even a tier that involves me sending you a comic once a month. So it's pretty badass by you becoming a patron. And you sending me your hard-earned money really, it motivates me even more. Not that I need a whole lot of motivation to want to get this content out there, but knowing that you guys care enough about how I'm delivering it, what I'm delivering, and the manner that I'm delivering, that's fucking motivating. Another thing that motivates me is when y'all take the time, that precious time out of your day to leave feedback. Drop a review, man. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review, and it helps climb the rankings in this podcast. The more ratings, the higher the ranking. So tell a friend. Tell a friend. It's good for everybody. Fucking leave feedback. Tell me what you liked about it. If you didn't like it, leave 5 stars and then still tell me what you didn't like, and I'll take it into consideration. So that way, it doesn't hurt the podcast, but at the same time, constructive criticism never hurt anybody. If you really want to get a hold of me, you can write a letter, drop an email at cheersToComicsPodcast@gmail.com. That's super neato. And I'll read your letter if you want. And your reviews as well. I'll read your reviews. I'll give you a shout out. I'll let you know what's up. You can also leave individual episodic reviews on a little place called Podchaser. It's brand new to your ears. It's not really, it's barely a thing, but goddamn, is it a thing. It is so cool. It is the IMDb of podcasts, as I have heard others describe it. And you get to follow your creators, your creator profiles as well, and you could see when they're if they're crossover in any other episodes, because the podcast community, especially through Podchaser, we all love each other, man. The internet's a big place. There's plenty of room for all the podcasts out there. So I'm a part of a really good group on Podchaser called Alternate Reality Radio. Shout out to Next Wave. And join that list, and you'll have a whole curated list of about close to 50 badass podcasts, ranging from everything from talk about relationships and very interesting stuff to horror-based podcasts, to all-around geekery podcasts. The stuff that I don't cover. I cover comic books. That's it. It is just the comic books. There's other podcasts out there that cover the shows that are spawning off of these podcasts. And I if I started shouting them off now, I'd have another half an hour on this runtime here. So, there's find them all on Podchaser is the point. Podchaser.com. You're gonna love it. You'll fall in love with it. It is awesome if you're really into podcasts. That does it. That wraps it up. No more plugs. I'm done plugging. You nerds, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Eat responsibly. Read responsibly. And, it's been a podcast. Cheers, fuckers.